So we got 20-minute run for distance. This is the second time doing it. Doing it on the treadmill, repeating. Every 3 weeks doing this, how far can I get? And so my strategy this time, last time I got 1.89 miles in 20 minutes. And whatever I do, I have to constantly switch it up. Some pattern, just not keep it the same, and just, it's so boring, just trying to zone out. So I'll either do the strategy of start at my pace that I did last Wednesday of 8.5 miles per hour, and then maybe every 30 seconds go down by 0.1 and just keep going down and down and down and down until it becomes a walk. And that should pan out to faster than last time or further distance last time. My goal is somewhere around a 10-minute pace or 6 miles per hour. But yeah, I think I'm gonna do that strategy. 8.5, work my way down, maybe sprinkle in a little 30-second walk here and there. But again, going based off of feel, but pushing myself to see how far can I get. I will update you after. There's nothing quite like it. That feeling after a hard workout, just how exhausted but complete I feel, just productive, just lighter. Man, I just feel so much better just getting a run in. I don't know what I would do I do know what I would do without it. I'd go crazy. Like I was going for 12 weeks without being able to do it. Just not being able to get this, it's addicting. I guess there's worse things to be addicted to, but man, I just feel so much better. I'm getting better at reminding myself this is how I feel afterwards to motivate me to do it and just to get it done, to get closer to this. But anyways, that was successful. That was really good. 20-minute run for distance. I got 2.19 miles. I did my plan of starting at 8.5 miles per hour, familiar speed. I did that for the 9 rounds last week. And then every 30 seconds, just decreased by 0.1 miles per hour. And so in the beginning, it felt pretty easy, right? I'm used to it. And then time started creeping up. And then that emotion part of the brain, that doubt starts to come in, like, this is the longest you've run. You sure you can hold this pace? You sure you can do this? And this is where logic comes in, and being able to have something that you can compare to, or something you can help fight and push down those thoughts and feelings, knowing my heart rate zones. So I'm starting to get that feeling of, well, maybe I'll only do it to this and then I'll start walking. I look and my heart rate's only like 165. And I know in the 160s is where I want to walk, but I don't need to walk. Where yes, it's starting to get more challenging, but it's not the point where physiologically I'm starting to poop out. So it pushed me to keep going, keep going. I made myself a promise, all right, well, if it starts dipping in the 170s, then I can really take the speed down. But it never did. I just kept decreasing. And so I think I hit, the goal was a 10-minute pace, and I hit at 10, by the time I got to 6 miles per hour of the goal of the average, was like 13 and a half or something minutes into it. So I just kept going down. And so you'll see my heart rate response was pretty steady there for a while, where I had to slightly decrease the speed for it to kind of stay in that range. I didn't start getting like really positive drops below the 165 range until I started getting into like the mid 5.5 miles per hour, or towards that 12-minute pace. But it was good. Just another reason to get out of your head, have some data, some facts to be able to fight off with, and having a plan, sticking to the plan. So that was really good. Got my goal. My average pace was low 9 something minute per mile pace. So I feel really good about that. Next time, I'd like to say maybe it'll be a little cooler. I'll do it outside for the 25 minutes, but we'll see. But next time will be 25-minute run for distance in 3 weeks, and then 3 weeks after that, we'll repeat that 25. And then again, the goal will be this pace that I did today. Can I match or beat that with a longer duration of running? So I thought about another strategy that I use at the end that I want to share that hopefully you can implement. So I thought to myself, the last 90 seconds, how do I want to end this thing? What's a way that I could still push myself, but also give myself the confidence of I've been here before, fighting fear with logic. So last interval, the 9 runs this week on the treadmill, I did 8.5 miles per hour for a minute, walk for 30 seconds, repeat. So I did that. So I did 30-second walk from 18.5 to 19 minutes. And then the final minute, put it 8.5 miles per hour and just held it and thought to myself, I can do this. I've done this many times before. This is what I did for 9 rounds last week. So it was a way to still push myself, but not kill myself. Been there before, done that. But again, just trying to use different strategies. What are different mind tricks and games you can play to just push the limit? Continue to push yourself to evolve, to improve. But I love having this strategy of just something to try to push myself. Otherwise, I will always autopilot to just coasting. So anyways, hope that helps. I will see you in the next one. All right, Matt, week 4. Let's be realistic here, but optimistic. We got 75 seconds of running, only 30 seconds of walking. So the goal, we'll shoot for 8-minute pace. When I first started this journey 3 weeks ago, the goal was 8 minutes. And I got around 8 minutes, and that was with a full 1 minute of a walking recovery and a minute of running. So now we're doing 15 seconds more of running with 30 seconds less of walking. So therefore, if it's an 8-minute pace, that's progress. So let's shoot for that. It's the first run of the week. Let's establish a foundation, a baseline, and we'll get it. Let's also try to beat the rain. I will see you on the other side. Why didn't you warn me? I forgot my headphones. How could you? I thought we were on the same team. So I'm trying this new thing of if something happens, just going with the flow. And there's a reason for everything. And what is this going to teach me? What lesson can I learn? So while part of me wanted to go back up and get my headphones, part of me is like, you know what? No, what can I learn from this? What can I learn from not having music in and trying not to get caught in the rain? But what it allowed me to do is to get more feedback, more auditory feedback from my ears of a couple things. One, how's my breathing? Am I shallow? Am I taking full breaths? Am I taking too quick of breaths? And like I mentioned last time in week 3, was diaphragmatic breathing versus chest breathing. Most of your efforts when it's a lower level, when it's in that zone 2, zone 3, that's where most of the time we don't need to use our traps. We don't need to use our chest to breathe. We're getting that zone 4, zone 5, 80+% of your heart rate max. That's where we are going to use the traps in the chest, but still not restricting the stomach. So I was thinking about that in the beginning. Breathing through the stomach out, pushing the stomach out, letting it recoil in, not pulling it in, just letting it naturally recoil in, push out, air comes in, recoil, air comes out. And knowing that later on, once my heart rate started to get up, I'm gonna have to start using chest and traps. But I was using the feedback in my breathing and the sound. Ideally, it's how can we maintain the same pace, not sacrifice speed, but be as quiet and stealthy as possible. And what that's doing and telling us is how much horizontal movement versus vertical. The goal is less vertical, more horizontal, gliding. So the more quiet it is, the more quiet you try to be, the more stealthy you are, be a ninja, it'll sound quieter. And that saves precious energy, not just to your body and your joints, but also to your heart, oxygen demand. So we can try to stay in those lower heart rate thresholds for longer. I'm also thinking the whole time of relax the body, scanning your body head to toe, asking yourself if it's not serving me in moving forward, and get rid of it, relax it. And so that also reminded me of a aha moment for a lot of people of the tush, of push with the tush. When one thing this depends on is being relaxed and allowing patience and then push. Because what you'll notice is if you're truly pushing with a tush, using your hips, pushing the ground back, lengthening the back part of your stride, covering more horizontal distance with each step, you won't have to take as many steps. And so it allows you to have a little bit more time to recover, not have to take steps so quickly. So as soon as you land, allowing your body to translate forward. Body's relaxed, just holding enough tension necessary to keep moving forward over that planted foot, and then push. Patience, and then push. And that's where if you feel like true gliding, when you really feel effortless and you feel like smooth, that's what you'll be doing. You're not constantly just driving through the ground or picking your feet up. You're just allowing patience to have the forward momentum happen, free energy, push the ground back, land, allow the body to continue to move forward over the foot, and then repeat. Don't think about right leg, left leg. That's too quick. Just think about the ground and your relationship to the ground, thinking, what do I do to the ground? Every time my body makes contact with the ground, I'm pushing back. And before that point, I'm trying to glide, land, minimize. As soon as I'm gliding over that foot, I'm not going up and down at that point. I'm staying level, then pushing back with a tush. But I feel like I got my goal of a little under, around 8, if not a little bit better. I'm still learning how to conserve and not use all my energy in the beginning. But the 30 seconds is starting to feel quick, and 75 seconds was feeling a little bit longer. But just the whole time, working on pacing, working on the gears, working on the breathing, working on the gliding. Overall, good day. I think I'll be happy with the stats later. And we'll work on more speed on the treadmill next time. Trying a new strategy. Wednesday, it's 3 o'clock, it's after work. I changed my workout clothes. I'm going right to the gym, right on the treadmill, and getting it done. No thinking about it, no waiting around, just getting her done. It's Wednesday, you know what that means, treadmill. So cooler climate, flat, so I can get a little bit more aggressive with the speed and the pace. So it's 75 seconds of running, 30 seconds of walking. Last week I did 8.5 miles per hour, which is about a 7:03 pace. Going for 15 seconds longer with the running this time, with the same amount of walking recovery, I will feel successful if I do 8.6 miles per hour. Even if I just held the 8.5 and did it for 15 seconds longer, that's progress. But I'm gonna get a little wild, a little crazy, and try to improve 0.1 on the speed. And what I'll tell myself mentally is, it's just 0.1. That's not enough for my body to really notice a difference, even though it does add up over time. Just a way to fight emotion with logic and push myself a little bit. I'm also probably gonna go back to the gym later with Alex, my fiance, and do some strength training. I've been good about incorporating strength training in all this, trying to minimize muscle loss, lose as much fat as possible. I'll post an update soon, but the week 3, I was able to maintain the muscle mass or gain some of the muscle mass back and not lose as much fat, so that's been optimistic. Last week was a slower week as far as trying to minimize calorie restriction. I'm not going too crazy, but this week, it's only Wednesday, I've restricted a lot more and pushed out my eating window to smaller portions of the day. So it's 3 o'clock now. I've only had about 300 calories so far today, but I find if I can push to this point and exercise, I actually do feel a different type of energy, running less on carbohydrates, more on fat, and knowing that I'm in a caloric deficit, it's gonna help to promote weight loss more. So I'm gonna do that, and I'll touch base afterwards. I think I was so tired I forgot to do the post-run analysis or feelings. I hit my wall today. I finally actually found my limit. I was about 6 intervals in, and I'm like, I can't sustain this pace for 75 seconds with only 30 seconds of walking. Heart rate was high, and so I pulled back. Not a lot, but I pulled back. I want to say I pulled back to an 8-minute pace or 7.5 miles per hour. I did that for 2 rounds, and I finished strong on the last interval, but in a way it was kind of disappointing to not hit that mark, but also I've been pushing myself and had nothing but wins, and we learn the most from our losses, even though it's really not a loss. So I'm going to continue to push myself on Wednesdays in the treadmill, in that environment, working on speed, but you don't know your limits until you actually hit them. So I feel good that I actually finally pushed myself to the point where I needed to actually pull back, not just wanted to, but needed to pull back. So I'll still consider it a win. My average pace was still around a 7-minute mile. Overall win. We'll get out, we'll continue to push and strive and be gracious. Here's where we're at. It's Saturday, August 10th. I'm supposed to do my 3rd and final run of the week yesterday. Just didn't have it in me, just didn't do it. So I've been delaying it all morning. Been trying to psych myself up using different strategies, try to get mad, pump myself up via getting angry. That doesn't help too much. But then I had a nice little reminder. My best friend Dom, about 5 years ago, was involved in an auto accident. And he's paralyzed, and he can't run, he can't walk. So I'm gonna do this one for him. Whew. And so we got the final run of the week. It's week 4. It's 75 seconds of running, only 30 seconds of walking for 10 rounds. It's outdoors. It's hot as hell out. It's almost 95 degrees with the humidity, but I did this to myself. I waited this long, so I've got to get it done. I'm going to do this in honor of him, to try to push myself, but also be gracious with myself if I don't get the time and the pace that I'm looking for, that I'm shooting for. I'm going to shoot for around an 8-minute pace, and I'll be happy with that if I do it. I just got to get it done. Just think of that feeling I'll feel afterwards, after the run, when I always feel better. So I'm just going to force myself to go out there and do it, and remember that we do hard things because for a reason. They make us feel better. And if I don't do this, it's just going to be looming over my head, and I won't get my day started. I won't get that feeling of the closest to me that I can be, which is that feeling after run, feeling fulfilled. So I'm going to go out there. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it done, and I'll report back afterwards and see how it goes. Done. I'll be honest, I didn't look at the pace one time. Today wasn't about that. I just got in the zone, just trying to get it done. It's so easy to fall into that trap of perfection and speed and pace, and that defining who you are and if you're a runner or not a runner. And it's like we all know deep down that it doesn't matter, but it's still hard to fight that. And so I was getting into that a little bit today, and to me that just delays, makes me not want to do it. If I'm worried about not being able to beat my pace or my time, it's just, the whole thing isn't about that. I'm not ever going to be a world-class, fast, crazy runner. I'm a 36-year-old asthmatic with flat feet, over 200 pounds, that's 15 weeks out from a spine fusion surgery. I'm just doing it. That's the point of this. I'm getting it done. I'm showing how to do it, not about how fast to do it. That doesn't matter. I'm doing it. So I'll probably put up the stats now of what I got, but I don't know. I know it wasn't my fastest for sure, but I know I was trying. It was a nice reminder. Most of my life, I've always been into fitness, but mainly I've been blessed with having people to do it with and friends, and that pushes me so much. I'm so extroverted. I'm not independently driven, so I have to find drive elsewhere. And one of those drivers in the past, and continues to be, is my buddy Dom, doing it for someone that can't. And that always pushes me. And calling him today, and him having to call me back because he couldn't talk because his blood pressure was so low, he had to get his blood pressure up, just reminding that we have it so good. We're so blessed beyond belief. No matter what we're dealing with, there's always someone that's dealing with it more, and he's fighting and struggling. So there's no reason why I can't fight and struggle and push myself and get out of this comfort crisis. So this is for you, Dom. I love you, brother. I'm trying not to get emotional, but yeah, think of somebody in your life that can't do this, or that does have it more challenging. Can you do this to honor them? Can you make something good out of every situation? There's always something to complain about and something to be negative about, but can you find some way to turn it into a positive? That's how you truly win, in my opinion. So this one was for you, Dom. I love you, brother. I'm gonna give you a call back now, as you called as I was finishing, and we'll do the stats thing later, and week 4 is in the books. We'll get after it next week. Thanks all for being here. I love you all. I'll see you next time. I'm gonna be short and sweet with the stats chat. As you can see, this week was not the best week for performance, but hopefully I got some perspective of what's important, and progress is progress. And as you can see, that my amount of time running is going up. The distance is going up, the farthest distance, the furthest amount of time, or the longest amount of time actually running. And my heart rate's still staying high, so I'm still pushing myself. So overall, this was a week of getting it done. We'll see as these weeks go on and the amount of time running gets longer with the walking time staying the same. I need to be okay with more fluctuations in pace and the speed not getting faster each and every week. But again, that's not the goal. That's not the purpose. So overall, win. It's a good week. We'll start fresh next week.